All right, let's talk about how you factor an expression that is a sum or difference of perfect cubes. First thing you need to memorize is what the answer is always going to look like. When you factor a sum or difference of perfect cubes, the answer is always going to be a binomial times a trinomial. Now, I know what you're thinking. I bet you were thinking it would just be 3 sets of parentheses. You're wrong. So everybody listen to me. Memorize your facts. To factor a sum or difference of perfect cubes, it's always going to be a binomial 2 terms times a trinomial 3 terms. Always. The second thing you got to memorize is in those parentheses, the pattern of the signs. This factoring rule, we're going to put the signs in first because there's a direct pattern you just need to memorize. So if you're doing a sum of perfect cubes, sum means addition, so your signs would go plus, minus, plus. If you're doing a difference of perfect cubes, you would start with subtraction and the signs would go minus, plus, plus. So in my classroom, I make my students cheer. Plus, minus, plus, minus, plus, plus. Plus, minus, plus, minus, plus, plus. You just have to memorize that fact. So every time you factor a sum or difference of perfect cubes, you're going to put a little parentheses of binomial times a big parentheses of trinomial. If your expression starts out with an adding sign, it's going to go plus, minus, plus. If your expression starts out with a subtraction sign, it's going to go minus, plus, plus. So when we factor this rule, we're going to put the signs in first. Now we got to get the parts. The first thing we're going to fill in the binomial. Binomial needs 2 terms. So the way we figure out the binomial is we look at the original expression and we think, what did we multiply 3 times for the first term? What did we multiply 3 times for the last term? So if you look at your PowerPoint, my expression is x cubed plus 64. That is a sum of perfect cubes. It has the plus sign, 64 is on the perfect cube list, and x cubed, the exponent, is a multiple of 3. So as soon as I see that expression, I'm going to put my little set of parentheses for my binomial, my big set of parentheses, my trinomial. Because it starts out as a plus, I'm going to put my signs in. In the binomial goes a plus sign, and in the trinomial goes the minus and plus sign. So it's always plus, minus, plus. Now I want to fill in the binomial. I need to put something in front of the plus, something behind the plus. The way I fill in the binomial is real simple. I say to myself, what did I multiply 3 times for x cubed? That would be x. So x would go first in the binomial. Then I'm going to say to myself, what did I multiply 3 times to give me 64? And that would be 4. And 4 would go last in the binomial. So that's where I get the binomial x plus 4. Because I say to myself, what did I multiply 3 times? Everybody's good? Now to get the trinomial, you're going to use the binomial. In words, you're going to square the first term in the binomial, you're going to square the last term in the binomial, and you're going to multiply the terms to make the middle. So everybody look at your binomial, x plus 4. Who's first? X. Square it. What's x times x? X squared. So I'll put an x squared first in the trinomial. Okay, in the binomial, who's last? 4. I'm going to square it. What's 4 times 4? 16. I'll put the 16 last in the trinomial. So now in the trinomial, I have an x squared first. I have the 16 last. I need what goes in the middle. I take the terms of the binomial and I multiply them together. What's x times 4? 4x. That would go in the middle. So when I factor this sum of perfect cubes, I have a binomial x plus 4, and then I have a trinomial x squared minus 4x plus 16. Now, everybody look closely at that trinomial. Is it easy or difficult? It's easy. It starts out with x squared, right? So if it's an easy trinomial, I got to first think, can it break down some more? Well, look at your last number, 16. What are the factors of 16? 1 and 16, 2 and 8, 4 and 4, right? Will any of those factors add to make the middle 4x? 1 and 16 will add to 17. 2 and 8 will add to 10. 4 and 4 will add to 8. Therefore, when you factor an expression that is a sum or difference of perfect cubes, and you're always going to get a binomial and a trinomial, that trinomial will never factor any further. It is set. And that's all you need to do. In most algebra books, they want you to memorize a formula to factor this. And that formula is confusing. What you need to learn is saying in your head, to factor a sum or difference of perfect cubes, it's a binomial times a trinomial. To get the binomial, I say, what did I multiply 3 times to get the original expression? To get the trinomial, I square the first, I square the last, I multiply to make the middle. All right, let's try some on the whiteboard.